Welcome, seekers of shadow and truth. I am Madame Luna, your guide through the unseen. Tonight, I invite you to walk with me into a place where history bleeds into myth and whispers become screams. There is a house perched on a lonely ridge in Pennsylvania. The locals call it Wycliff Hill. For generations, it has stood as a monument to wealth, to silence, and to secrets that were never meant to be unearthed. But on one October afternoon in 2002, a girl named Clara Whitmore vanished. And what followed would unravel a legacy of terror spanning centuries. Do not listen lightly. Do not listen alone. For once you hear the story of Wycliff Hill, you may never stop hearing it. Now let us begin. The house on Wycliff Hill, October 13th, 2002, in the fog-drenched town of Elmridge, Pennsylvania. Nestled deep in the Appalachian foothills, 17-year-old Clara Whitmore vanished. The town had seen trouble before: rumors, fires, the occasional scandal. But Clara was different. She wasn't the kind of girl to disappear. She was sharp, observant, popular without needing to be liked. The kind of girl people remembered because she carried silence like a blade. The Whitmores were old money, their family etched into the town's very foundations. Their home, Wycliff Hill, was the decaying monument to that name. Clara's disappearance. Clara was last seen at Elmridge High, exiting at exactly 3:12 p.m. Security cameras caught her walking toward the student lot, coat slung over her shoulder, satchel in hand. After that, nothing. Her boyfriend, Tommy Greaves, said she had planned to come by his house to study. She never arrived. By 6 o'clock, her phone went to voicemail. By 9, her parents called the police. The phone was discovered the next morning at 8:17 a.m. by a jogger along Route 22. The screen cracked, battery dead, tossed like litter into the wet grass. The last message from Tommy: "You okay?" at 4:09 p.m. Never read. The police began the search immediately: dogs, woods, interviews, canvassing the town. But Elmridge responded in ways no one could predict. Fear spread faster than facts, and the further you looked into the Whitmores, the darker it all became. Wycliff Hill. The estate stood like a sentinel on the ridge. 3 stories tall, foundation dug deep into black shale. Built in 1859 by Edwin Wycliff, a coal baron known for burying rivals in mine shafts. The house outlasted him, and 4 generations of whispered misfortune: fires, suicides, disappearances. Children swore they saw faces in the windows long after lights went out. Adults whispered of moans carried on the wind. Richard Whitmore, Clara's father, was the master now. A historian, reclusive, obsessed with archives. Lorraine, her mother, a former beauty queen turned charity matron, perfect posture, flawless composure, eyes like ice. Neither seemed shaken when police questioned them. Richard shrugged. She has a habit of sneaking off. Lorraine smiled thinly. She's a Whitmore. She'll come back when she wants. But Clara had been afraid. The NIGHTMRES. Her closest friend, Mandy Jameson, revealed Clara's recent texts. I don't think I'm alone in the house anymore. My parents are lying to me. There's something in the basement. She sent Mandy a photo once. A scratch mark, 4 feet long, jagged across her floorboards. Too deep for an animal. Detective Eric Halden, a seasoned man with 28 years on the force, led the case. Calm, unshakable, but the Whitmore estate rattled him. The night he searched the property, the Whitmores insisted the west wing basement was under restoration. No entry allowed. The servant's eyes betrayed unease. 3 days later, Halden secured a warrant. Behind a false wall in the wine cellar, they found a hidden chamber. The chamber, thick concrete, reinforced door, rusted restraints bolted to the floor, a cot stained with years of filth, hundreds of drawings on the walls, charcoal, blood depicting a tall figure with stretched limbs and hollow pits for eyes, and a wooden box filled with human teeth. 2 matched Clara. The discovery exploded across the press. The Whitmores were arrested, but the DNA told a deeper story. The blood and hair in the chamber matched Samuel Pritchard, Richard's uncle. Presumed drowned in 1979. He wasn't dead. Samuel had been diagnosed decades earlier with violent psychosis. In 1976, he nearly killed a child with a fireplace poker. Rather than institutionalize him, Edwin Whitmore had contained him. The chamber was his prison. Samuel lived under Wycliff Hill for 23 years. Fed by servants sworn to silence, Clara had discovered him. As a child, she must have heard him noises in the night. Curiosity turned to pity. She snuck him food. Her journal revealed the truth. He's not as scary as they say. He never had a childhood. He watches me now. I woke up and he was standing over me. I think he wants to wear me. 3 days after the chamber's discovery, Samuel was spotted in the woods. Naked, skeletal, eating bark. He attacked a hiker with a rock before deputies shot him dead. DNA confirmed it. Samuel was real, but Clara's body was never found. The trial, April 2003. The trial of Richard and Lorraine Whitmore drew national attention. The prosecution painted them as enablers of horror. They fed the monster to preserve their family's name. Clara discovered the secret and paid for it. Her journal entries and the basement photos shook the courtroom. The defense claimed the Whitmores had contained Samuel for the town's safety. A desperate choice, not malice. Lorraine sobbed on the stand. Richard spoke of genetic rot and nature correcting itself. Then Mandy Jameson produced a voicemail from Clara. He's out. I heard my father, they argued. Mom said it's time to let the line die. He's watching me. I locked my door. I think he Static ended the message. The jury was horrified. After weeks of testimony, including staff who admitted feeding Samuel and burning bloody sheets, the verdict came back. Guilty. The Whitmores received 25 years without parole. Neither flinched. After the house fell, months later, demolition crews arrived to raise Wycliff Hill. But the house wasn't finished. Under the foundation, they discovered a deeper chamber. A stone altar, rusted chains, bones scattered. A sigil carved into the wall, the same symbol Samuel had drawn again and again. The media screamed. Cult site found beneath Wycliff. A podcast, Whispers on Wycliff, reignited the case 2 decades later. Journalist Fiona Kane traced the Whitmore bloodline back 150 years. Generations of firstborn children had disappeared, each plagued by dreams of the Hollow Man. The Keeper. Her research uncovered Edwin Wycliffe's journals. We are its stewards. The hunger returns each generation. It feeds not on flesh, but on name. Staff recalled Samuel crying during storms. The voice came up through the water, one said. Clara's unsent letter surfaced. If anything happens, don't believe it was just him. He's not the worst thing in this house. There's something under him. I hear it at night. Inside the stone. Fiona's fate. By 2022, Fiona moved to Elmridge. Rented a house a mile from Wycliff. Her logs described nightmares. Nosebleeds. Missing hours. Once, she woke at the ruins of Whitcliff Hill with her recorder running. Whispers filled the tape. The line is open. Beneath them, an animal breath. Fiona's final podcast, uploaded automatically. After that, she vanished. Tourists disappeared too. 2 college vloggers filmed themselves laughing, then froze. One asked, "Did you hear that?" The camera tipped sideways. The video ended. Their bodies never recovered. The state restricted the hilltop. Fences, motion sensors, but drawings reappeared etched into trees and stone. Always the long-limbed man. Children whispered about the echo. One boy at school whispered to himself on the playground. When asked who he spoke to, he said, "The man in the wall. He lives under names. He drew the sigil." He said Clara told him she was still in there. The ending. Detective Halden, retired, refused to release his files. They were stolen in a break-in. Soon after he died, a hidden recorder in his desk played his last words. There was more. We were wrong. It wasn't feeding on blood or flesh. It fed on memory, and we gave it everything. A rattling breath ended the tape. By 2025, online groups calling themselves The Broken Line tracked strange phenomena. Shared dreams, distorted photos, whispers in recordings. And then came the final leak. A demolition worker posted photos from the teardown. A sealed iron doorway beneath the altar. Open. The last blurry image showed a silhouette. Too tall, head tilted. Beside it, the faint outline of a girl's dress. torn, stitched with the name, C. Whitmore. The post vanished, the workers' records scrubbed, but one audio clip remained. 5 seconds, 2 voices, a whisper, "He's out," and a girl's voice, "Don't look at his eyes." Outro, Madame Luna. And so, dear listener, the story of Wycliff Hill closes like a coffin lid. But coffins are only wood, and wood can break. The Whitmores are gone. Samuel is gone. The house is gone. But memory remains. If you dream tonight, and a voice in the dark calls your name, do not answer. If you see the long-limbed man standing at the edge of your vision, do not look at his eyes. This has been your journey into the hollow, guided by Madame Luna. Until the next tale calls, sleep lightly.